The Carolina Panthers are heading to Jacksonville for joint practice and their third preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars after a dismal performance in Buffalo. Can the addition of Darren Waller give this offense a jump start? You won't find out this week, but Canales is really impressed with his conditioning. Carolina's offense is struggling, but their defensive front may be better than we thought. We're chopping it up on the C3 Panthers podcast.
Tony Darren, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers podcast.
It's Tuesday night, 9 p.m., where we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective on the C3 Panthers podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast. My name is Tony Dunn, and tonight's show is, can the Panthers offense find footing in Jacksonville? You heard some of the topics, but boy, has Panther Nation been a panic after an offense could not even earn a first down. You want to talk about 15 to 20 plays? Canales said it would have taken to the third quarter. I was saying that all during the watch along. How bad is it? We're going to let you know tonight. Cody Lack, my wheel man. How you doing, my friend?
Tony Dunn, that offensive line was looking like Swiss cheese, brother. A lot of people are asking about the depth on this line. And if we did incur an injury, man, are we having to depend on Chandler Zavala? Man, that is rough. However, we also got a brand new signing for us to discuss tonight. Darren Waller is now a Carolina Panther. We'll wrap up the Buffalo game and look forward to Jacksonville. And Tony, we'll do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. Kristen Butler in the building. John B. Jenkins, go fish. What's up, brother? KG73s. Loud Pack, Luke, VR, the Hope Dealer. Hey, have a better day, brother. We're here to help you out, man. And then last but not least, Panther Gal. Tony Dunn, it's a Tuesday night. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Call in. Let us know your thoughts on the Carolina Panthers second preseason performance against the Buffalo Bills. Just how much panic is in the air? Does the preseason matter? Does it not matter? Seems to never matter when it's bad, always matter when it's good. Dan Morgan said it does matter, though. Can the Carolina Panthers offense get it together? Let us know. Smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe to the show. Be a friend. Tell a friend, in the words of Pat McAfee. Help this podcast keep going and growing. You guys have been there for us. We are there for you. Thank you for your time, your support, your energy. And as always, CK, thanks for being in the house. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm out here living dreams. Love to have a conversation about what we saw on Saturday from this team. If that means that there's a moment of panic, or if that means that this is 15 snaps from an offense that doesn't seem to have rhythm currently, which is oftentimes what we've seen from this offense, early on in the season. So, but it'll be interesting to, hear everybody's takes and see what the reactions are on the cat calls. And, it'll be an interesting evening of probably overreaction, to be quite honest.
Maybe overreaction. I sometimes think that it might be underreaction, just because we are shamed and criticize our team at times. And it's like, oh man, you don't believe in them. You don't believe in them. Well, Josh Allen went out there and showed you why he's one of the best in the league. Yes. He went out there and their offense was cooking. At some point, I heard one person say it looked like they were scheming up things, but everything's vanilla in the preseason. You can say excuses, but it just at some point, when does the smoke equal fire? I will try not to panic. I am going to be here watching this team regardless. That's the painful part of it. So how negative I go doesn't matter because I'm a glutton for punishment. Cody Lack, tonight's show, can the Panthers offense find footing in Jacksonville? But before we get bogged down in our discussion of that putrid beginning to the Buffalo Bills performance as we continue to try to generate excitement, we've generated optimism much more and more until we actually see the team. That's the worst part about it, is seeing the team makes us less optimistic. But let's not get bogged down in the Buffalo Bill beatdown. Instead, the Carolina Panthers are heading to Jacksonville for I think the joint practice is on Friday. Or is the joint practice? The joint practice is
tomorrow, and
the
then
game is on Friday.
Friday.
Correct. The Carolina Panthers are heading to Jacksonville to play another AFC team on the rise. A team that had been waffling and wavering, had some moments of good, a lot of moments of bad, but this Cohen guy, what's Cohen's first name?
Liam
Cohen, the offensive coordinator from Tampa Bay who replaced Dave Canales. Dave Canales, the offensive coach who heads to Jacksonville to take on his offensive coordinator replacement, who is more offensively gifted and ascending in Jacksonville. They really went from the bottom to the top last year, and now we're trying to bounce back, and this offense has got to try to get it together against a Jacksonville Jaguars defense that has been disruptive. Thankfully, we robbed them of one of their good players in our linebacker, Devin Lloyd.
Yep.
Devin Lloyd, thank you for helping me there. And but man, this is a tough task. It is the preseason, so it's easier than in the regular season. But this team, they look to be on the rise, and Carolina's trying to find some footing. Cody, what's happening here?
Dude, I've said this before. I like joint practices better than I do preseason. I think this is where you prepare for the season. When we always have these debates about how much the preseason actually prepares you to come out hot for the start of the season, to me, these joint practices is what actually accomplishes that goal. And again, we're already having this discussion of how much are we going to see starters versus Jacksonville, and Dave Canales sort of talked about that a little bit. He said that he was not happy with his squad after that preseason dud against the Buffalo Bills. And who would be? The head coach told his players, holds his players to a high standard these days, and they didn't come close to meeting it. Dave Canales would go on to say, just what I've been seeing every day in practice here, the physicality, the show up, our style of football, that has been the standard. That's what it's looked like. I just want to see that consistency happen in practice. The competition will elevate, getting some fresh new faces to go against, different schemes, different style of fronts, different style of offenses, those types of things. Just seeing our guys execute with our type of physicality. So, again, I think they're reveling in this opportunity to go up against some other players in practice, having more than one day of it, then finishing up with the preseason game. Tony, we have to look better against Jacksonville than we did against Buffalo. And I don't care that it's preseason, because now, for the fourth year in a row, we're having the same conversation. Our starters go into preseason, and we look terrible. We don't look anything like the Buffalo Bills. We don't look anything like a bunch of these other football teams. Now, again, we have the caveat here of saying no Robert Hunt, no Damian Lewis, but it matters that we look so completely inept compared to our constituents. And if we do the same thing against Jacksonville, who are also going to play their starters, we might have a real problem on our hands.
The joint practices, let's talk about that. Carolina goes, this is not joint practices. This is a joint practice. Unlike in past years where we've seen the Panthers kind of host somebody for a couple of practices, 2 or 3, and then they play them. They also get to know those teams. This is one and done practice on the road. They have been, Dave Canales and Lean Cohen have been in discussions about how to run this, how to do it. These joint practices are more controlled in a way, but I don't know if they are more beneficial than a preseason game. I don't know that for sure. I guess maybe because you can work guys on specific things over and over.
And
but,
more
but that's not how
practice.
Yeah, but that's not how practices even work, though. They like run and play 2 times and then they're done.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's 2 hours long, and half of it is damn warming up. It feels like. No, that's probably an exaggeration.
When you're talking about the ability to hit another football team, I think they're doing more than just running through installs.
No, yes, they are. They're doing
you're
more.
Actually getting the
11
opportunity. Yeah, and you're actually getting the opportunity to see some of what you're gonna want to do during the season in practice against another football team. And now that you have Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis returning, it should be a better opportunity for Carolina to get some momentum offensively.
So much for controlled. I saw that the Saints and the Cowboys in their joint practice today had 6 fights.
Yeah, I saw that.
6. I don't know what's more valuable. Everybody tends to, the football heads, whether it be the hardcore football fans like yourself or coaches in the past, talk about how they like the joint practices and they learn the most in those moments, even more so than in the preseason games. And you're right, is like they get to see the players they're working with and more scenarios they're potentially working with. And preseason games have more what ifs kind of things. Is like, what if something goes wrong? I mean, like, and all of a sudden you are 3 and out and this, that, and the third, or that you're managing, instead of looking at players, you're managing the game, and maybe you're not coaching them up in the moment in that sense. But I still think this is, I look, the preseason, we'll come back to this, is how about this, without getting bogged down in the Buffalo beatdown. Carolina, the preseason does not matter. The score doesn't matter, but getting better matters, right? Being better matters. And one of the things that we were so excited about after the Hall of Fame game is that the team looked composed. You know, it's like they executed plays when they were called. There weren't a bunch of penalties. The offense, while it's not scheming up, seemed to create space and move the ball at times. None of that happened in this last preseason game. And Carolina, what I would say is this: at what point fans can fan, we can freak out, but at what point? And I think this for the preseason is good, Cody, as you're talking about, like, going against another team, is that, or you get to see the players that you want to see. We saw players that Canales and Morgan thought were good enough to be backups, and they weren't in these preseason games. They saw against another team how the difference in the level of competition, even in those small moments in these unideal situations. I'm tired of hearing we didn't have Damian Lewis. I'm tired of hearing we didn't have Robert Hunt. It's just, man, at some point, those are guys that are on your team. And if they are not good enough to play at all, good God, right? The drop-off should not be that much. So, Cody, at what point does fans, forget the fan freak out, at what time does Dave Canales, Dan Morgan start to be concerned about how behind schedule their starting crew looks like in these small moments? Or do they bury their head in the sand and say, we're doing the process, we're doing the right things, we're practicing hard, which he said, our guys are laying it on the line in practice, they're fighting for things, right? And they're doing so great. It did not show in that game. Very simple, small sample set. But at what point does that infiltrate the players' minds, the coaches' minds, the GM minds, Tepper's mind? Forget us fans, Cody.
Well, and listen, that was a bit of a storyline too. Dave Canales did a press conference, and he was very kind of nonchalant about the play of the backups. He really kind of endorsed Chandler Zavala and said, "We like what he's done before. We have confidence in him moving forward."
We know who he is, he said.
Yeah,
at one
we
point.
know who
Like,
he
what-
is. It's the normal coach speak. And, you know, I think that us fans, we don't get a lot out of that because we're saying Chandler Zavala sucks. Like, if we're all having to depend on Chandler Zavala, if Lewis goes down this year or Hunt, either one of them, we're in a gang of trouble, man. Chandler Zavala did not look good. If you look at that game, Chandler Zavala was getting blown up on every single snap. When Jonathan Brooks was tackled behind the line of scrimmage, it was because of Zavala. When Bryce Young was having his pocket collapsed on him, it was because of Zavala. And I feel like for the most part, everyone else did a fairly decent job. I know Fortner has also been a topic of conversation. He did not look great in and of himself, but I think Monroe Freeling looked the part, especially for someone who thought he was playing left tackle before the start of the season. He looked decent. Walker had a massive block where he put someone into the dirt.
Yeah, he's highlighted by Baldinger, right? I mean, you got these moments where people did things that are good, individual players, but I'm not speaking on individual play. That's actually the thing that I'm least interested in is, you could say Zavala got blown up, CK. How much, CK, were you able to watch of this preseason game? Because I know it's hard for you to get these in your area.
I watched pretty much all of the starters, and then I watched a little bit of Kenny Pickett. And when I at that point in time, I was like, okay, well, we're back to the unexciting offense and things like that. I mean, it was clear to me, at least, seeing the difference between Kenny Pickett and Haynes King. That I still don't understand why Kenny Pickett's number 2 right now.
Well, Haynes
I know
is
that's not what we're talking about.
Dealing with an injury. I do want to highlight at Bees Knees 82 comment. Well, man, great to see you back in the chat. I know we dialed it back, she said, with our starters, but why so day and night difference? We look disconnected more than I was expecting, and it was discouraging to see. This is got my led to this question with UCK is that we can hone in on individual players like Zavala being crap or missing certain players at interior line. So then you got to put these guys in. Somehow Bryce has missed, I think, a ton of criticism, or like he has somehow not received any of the criticism to the level that he generally would have been. It's like said, oh gosh, man, is he the guy? Is he the guy? You haven't had that conversation.
Sure.
For me, though, it's not about what individual players did. It's not about the results of a certain play like that. The starters need to go and score 20 touchdowns and look so great. For me, CK, is how do you explain a team that believed that they were getting better from year to year, from day to day, from week to week, not looking like they've progressed, looking like the Panthers that we're accustomed to, and that is a bunch of nothing, and then we just say, oh, the preseason doesn't matter. I hope they get it together by the regular season. How do we handle that?
I don't know that there's an easy answer to it, unfortunately. I think we have to acknowledge that this is literally the first preseason game. I mean, we have to be able to acknowledge that, right?
Yeah, right.
at
It's
the
the
end of the
second,
day.
though.
And I think you've got to also keep in mind that with Joe Brady starting out as the head coach of the Bills, can we also acknowledge that he probably had a little bit of, he wanted to show something with his first preseason game? Like,
I mean, clearly it wasn't just him. DJ Moore is sitting there trying to do, what is that?
Right.
What's the drill that they do where they like try to smash
Oh,
into
the
each other?
Oklahoma drill?
Yeah, I mean, he's
Dude,
calling
Josh
that.
Allen and DJ Moore are going to feed families this year,
Yeah.
bro.
But my point of
I'm
this
happy
is
for
that,
him.
like, they clearly had something more to prove than we did.
I can't believe that at all, though.
But why not?
Because
If you-
think this is that I don't think it's not even having to prove. Maybe Joe Brady wants to prove. Maybe he's feels like he's got to pizzazz
That's what I'm
people.
saying.
But like, I feel like Josh Allen and them can come out and just do that on any day. Like they're not. I thought they played to the level of what good teams play in any circumstance, right? It's like they didn't do anything fantastic. They had moments where things, kind of contracted. They didn't do everything perfect, but they didn't look stuck in the mud every play.
No,
right?
but the point I'm making is, in my opinion, I saw their offense and it was way less vanilla than our offense. And I feel like what we saw was a team that came out to prove not only that Joe Brady belonged, but that he had, I mean, in my opinion, I think the difference in what we saw was not just performance on our offense, but it felt like they were trying to prove something. Right. And my point being is like, they're coming off of a bad year. They fired their head coach. Joe Brady is going up against the team that fired him, saying that he wasn't worth anything. And then you have DJ Moore, who's gone up there, who is playing the Panthers, who traded him for, a guy who's
got a chip on his shoulder. He clearly wanted to thrive.
Right. I think this offense, this Bills offense came out and probably showed more of their hand than most teams are going to be willing to show in the preseason.
All right.
Can I just say this though, dude? But can I just say this real quick before you go? This is why I always say, like, I don't think that the preseason is that big of a deal in preparing your team for the start of the season. Like, how many people can actually sit here and say anything we did against Buffalo somehow helped us be better for Chicago? Like,
I can say right away how. All right. This is where I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm gonna ask my question first because I think it is relevant to it. CK says that they were way less vanilla, right? What? Because I'm not trying to be a jerk. CK is like, right, they motioned DJ Moore. They put him in motion. It's not like they were scheming and revealing anything. Is they motioned a player one play. They got in space. They made some connections. Josh Allen made a couple of good throws. They moved the ball. They didn't complete everything. They didn't convert everything. But if you look at this, Cody, I'll ask you this, do you believe that the Carolina Panthers, whether or not they said, oh, we could have been less vanilla, whatever the hell that means. You know what I'm saying? It's like, really, is everybody just run, pass? One team did a couple and they converted. The other team didn't do any conversions at all. Do you think that the Carolina Panthers coaching staff walked back away from that game and said, I thought we are farther behind schedule than we thought we were after that game? Yeah,
but then again, you're not playing your starting two guards.
Oh my gosh, dude! We don't half the time we're missing our fucking half of our offensive line all season.
It matters when you don't have the main guys. You paid $100 million between the two of them to protect Bryce Young, and neither of them are out there. So you're gonna let the Buffalo
Robert
Bills
Hunt's missed a season and a half.
On him and then kick his dick in the dirt. Like, now they're just putting Bryce in harm's way. It made no sense.
What happens, do you think, then, if the Carolina Panthers don't have those players in week one or one of those players? Are you just going to be like, well, I mean, if we had Robert Hunt, we'd be a fucking Super Bowl team?
No, that's what
I think this is an excuse. That's what I'm saying. I think Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis are just a complete excuse for not being able to get a first down. I'm not saying you got to go out there and be a world-beaten team. I don't think the Panthers need to be that are going to be a 12-win team without their best players. But do you think that the Panthers, without Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt, are going to be destined to a 4-win season?
No, but I think that, listen, if we don't have those guys, yeah, it could be a 4-win team. My point is this. If you don't play your starters, your backups are getting more and more reps against starting caliber players in the Buffalo Bills. You're battle testing your depth and seeing what you have on your roster, while at the same time not subjecting your starters to unnecessary punishment. Like, there was nothing in that game that helped the Carolina Panthers be better for week one. And then here's another thing. Are we going to have this same conversation if we go out and look like ass against the Jaguars too?
Yes. Yes.
It's ridiculous.
How about this? Is why can't the Panthers not look like ass? I'm not asking them to be great. How about this? How about that we have a fourth-year quarterback? We have a third-year head coach? Correct?
Yes.
Third-year head coach. You've got. Why can the Panthers? They don't need to show me that everything is perfect and that there's no room for improvement. But why do they have to look like a thing where I have to explain away every potential weakness as just like it doesn't fucking matter?
I don't know who you're putting it on. Why were they that? Was Buffalo just that much better? Was it Bryce not being able to control the offense? Like, why was that so bad then?
I don't think this is where my real concern is that I don't think that this is a sign of an individual weakness. Right? Is like, I don't think we can just say, oh, well, Bryce isn't the guy. He's right. I mean, he had a play. He didn't do great. He didn't have a good rep where we took a sack and it looked like he could have thrown the ball away or he can't anticipate a throw. But it's not that one play. I'm just saying the collective starters who were 80% of the Carolina Panthers starters collectively looked worse than I anticipated them to look. I think they look behind schedule. That's all I'm going to say is that the Panthers, I don't need them to go and score 12 touchdowns. I don't even need them to march down the field. I just don't think it looked like they could have pulled off a play. They didn't look like they could pull off a play.
No.
I felt like it was behind schedule. I think that the Panthers should look better regardless of injuries.
We didn't look like that against the Cardinals. It looked like they had a completely different game plan, everything.
Yeah.
It was a bit. Talk about night and day difference. It's okay. Me and you were fucking geeked watching that Cardinals game. And against the Bills, dude, it was abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. And again, we're always asking these same old questions. How much stock do we put into this? You're saying they're behind schedule. And I'm not disagreeing with you, Tony, but it absolutely matters when you don't have Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt. It just simply does. And then, by the way, we're going to have even more. I didn't
say it doesn't matter.
No,
I didn't say it doesn't matter. I just feel like there's an opportunity for us to have to play several games throughout this season without the guys that we expect to play. And does that mean that the Carolina Panthers, and I thought that, and one of the things I've gotten on, and I'm sorry, I'm so emotional about this and so revved up. I told you I needed to get a little life in me before the show. I guess the energy drink is kicking in. But one of the things that I was committed to about how good that this free agency was, that this draft was, that the continued growth of this team was, is that we did not feel like we were paper ready only. Like, is that this team had a little bit more juice to it just than everything having to go right. And the first time that we have, and yes, this is a collective, like the two guards, but I really think there's a chance in this. We've watched this Panthers offensive line. They're going to be hurt. We don't even have ultimately the starting five, period. Taylor Moton's not there. You're starting Monroe Freeland. You didn't want to do that originally. You've got a free agent last minute kind of signing, which was great. In what, Walker? Hold on. Waller. Thank you. My mind's racing here. I just think this is that, yes, I understand that there are these issues, but I just felt like we should have collectively, when we put our starters out there, just looked a little more of a little bit more. And it would have been one thing if it was just 1 3 and out, then the second 3 and out came, then the third 3 and out came, and it just was like nothing. And I was just disappointed. I thought that the Panthers offense was ready to move forward and progress. But I think the same exact things are lingering right now that are facing all of us. Is all of the questions right now continue to be, can the Carolina Panthers move the ball and score? Yeah. And I don't care about fourth quarter comebacks anymore. I don't care about this. I care about each and every week just having a viable offense that can put up more than 20, that can give your defense a chance to help you, or to win on their own. I like this comment earlier, and I'll let you take over because I know I'm just pounding and getting mad
because
here.
I want to get to this comment when you're done.
I like this. Joust182 says, we're right on schedule from last year. 1 week we look like world beaters, then the next week we look like ass. So
literally verbatim.
It is the thing is, we are right where I just was ready for a team to go forward. I was ready for this. It's not for Bryce Young to be a 5,000-yard passer. I'm ready for him to be a 3,800-yard passer. I'm ready for T-Mac, to continue, to XL, to maybe, for us to stop just saying Jim Coker is the best, but that nobody knows about, and them actually just move the freaking ball and score a couple of touchdowns, not in the preseason, but in the game. And I'm worried that this actually is smoke that indicates fire.
And Tony CK, I'm highlighting this comment by Stephen Bailey, and you might think that it's unfair, but I do think that there is something to be said about this. It says all teams have to deal with injuries. You have to find a way to win. That is where the special leaders show up, like Josh Allen.
Such a great comment.
We don't have that. And you see, this is my thing. People think that I'm a Bryce Young hater. I call myself a Bryce Young realist. But at the end of the day, even if you have a good excuse as to why Bryce Young didn't play well, eventually people are tired of the excuses, man. There's always a reason why Bryce doesn't look good or play well. It's we didn't have Hunt. We didn't have Lewis. And I have already said I thought that was a major reason why we look so bad. Chandler Zavala looked like a turnstile out there. But I do think that you have quarterbacks that are magic makers versus quarterbacks that are role players. And I feel like more and more we're seeing that Bryce Young is who we thought he was. He is a role player. Everything around him has to be really well calculated and meticulously drawn out, and it has to be very well protected. Everyone has to be able to get open before Bryce can show you that kind of special.
We can't learn this specifically and only from this preseason moment. In fact, Bryce Young has evaded any criticism from, I guess, the larger media during this part, from fans overall. And really, I don't feel like we're bringing it at him at all here. You're talking about the guy that would be the first and most critical, I feel like, to point out somebody is saying it's the guards. It's the guards. It's the guards. One of the things, though, that is true that we saw last season, CK, that I don't know if this season, I don't think the preseason told us this, but you got to wonder, is I don't care what fans think about Bryce. If you love him, you hate him, you think he is a role player, you think he's not. It starts to make it feel like that opposing defenses are just saying, you know what? Make Bryce beat us. Make him beat us. I think that's the formula that teams are approaching Carolina, and they will approach until he can beat them under duress.
It's reasonable to have that belief, because unfortunately, when we saw what people were saying on across the league about Bryce Young, even within division, with that thing we were talking about a few weeks ago, where an executive said, if that's the guy they want moving forward, we're perfectly fine with it. I think that there's probably some disrespect that actually does exist within the NFL when it comes to Bryce Young. Some of that, warranted, but I think that what this is the part that I've always wished that Bryce is that he would take what people are saying and use that as fuel, and he never is that person. And I feel like even when you ask him, like every time they ask him, his answer is, I don't get motivation by, focusing on those things. And I don't know. I think there's a fire that you get when you take that stuff and you're like able to internalize it and use it for your own, like, you just, let me prove you wrong type of mentality. And I wish that the fact that there are people out there that don't believe in Bryce, I wish that was something that he talked about as fuel. Maybe he will one day, and maybe it actually does fuel him, and he's just not going to say that publicly. But I think that that's the part that I think we all can agree is we've missed a little bit from Bryce.
Oh, of course. See, I can't believe I'm saying this. I wish that he was online more. I wish he got to see the quote unquote.
Nah, he doesn't
haters.
want none of that, dude. He can't. He doesn't need any
Why?
of that.
Yeah, I think
Because
he fucking needs
is
a
that-
healthy ass dose of it, is what I think.
The reality of the situation is enough pressure right now. I think everybody, you know what I'm saying, is this the chat's cooking, by the way. I like this. I guess this is at Lou. Geez, Tony, it's only year 4. Give King Price time to cook. Right.
Yeah,
now,
dude.
again, people are going to listen to this and be like, it's the preseason. It's the preseason. We're not talking about this game. We're talking about how this team, I don't think, looks ahead of schedule. They look behind schedule. And at that point, some of it is going to have to come back to Bryce. And KG73 says, the reason we're not criticizing, listen to this, nobody's criticizing because we are conditioned that this is just what Bryce is, that we're like conditioned into like, is like, now I will say, and then my final comment, and let you guys cook now, and I just said that over, is Bryce Young has got year 4 here after being benched at one point. At the end of this experiment, whether Bryce Young is the future quarterback after this year and he has a great season, or if he doesn't have a good season, he's not the quarterback of the future and likely not the quarterback even in his 5th-year option. I don't care if they got it or not. You cannot say there is no reasonable situation that Carolina did not give the time for this to play out, because no other team in this league, I think that they did the one thing that everybody says that teams just can't do, and that's be patient. I think they have done everything, and they're giving it all to Bryce this year. Year 4,
Yeah.
4 full years. I don't think you find that in many places, Cody.
And you can only ask people to be patient for so long. And by the way, for my end of it, remember, I don't even want the starters playing preseason football. So then if you're going to trot them out there and then they look like shit, then no one can tell me that I can't criticize what I'm looking at, even though it's a vanilla offensive scheme going up against a vanilla defense.
You're not
They
even
look like
critical,
hot
though.
dog shit.
You've been I'm almost worried if you've been body snatched, because you have not been critical. And back to what you asked is that what benefit is there for anybody playing the preseason? I think the benefit comes to a dose of a reality check to this coaching staff, to the players, to they think that everything in camp, every camp for every team looks great. Players look great. We had a great practice. You ever had a coach just come out and say, this has been the worst fucking camp I ever had in my life? This fucking team is no, everything is always great. I think that this is a reality check to them that they're not on the schedule that they should or thought they were.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm done with it, man. I'm wanting to see good football. And then again, by the way, I also know that I'm in the minority with my preseason take. Panther Guy says they need practice. KG73 says we aren't that squad. They haven't earned the right
I agree
to sit
with
in
this.
preseason. I understand. I've been on this take for many years now. But
Okay.
if they go out there and they look like shit, I'm going to say that they look like shit. And I'm going to say that I'm tired of hearing the excuses for why they look like shit.
One more topic and we'll go to the calls. Let's go back to the joint practice of the preseason game. Tell me again, just because I'm so in my feels right now, what should we anticipate out of these practices? What are we hearing that the Panthers want to do, want to learn about their team? They say, all I've heard is this from the couple of articles I read is that the Carolina Panthers plan to have substantial time for their starters to get reps in the practice. That's what I heard. What do you think the Panthers are going to do in the preseason game? Do you think they want to run this back out like they did last week and see improvement? Do you think they are thinking it's time to conceal this and just focus on health and self-wellness in the background for the regular season? What do you think is going to happen in this Jacksonville preseason game when it comes to seeing this start, particularly the offense?
Well, I'll be brief and then I'll let CK jump in here. To me, it's matchups. I think they want to see T-Mac versus Travis Hunter. I think they want to see how this offensive line holds up against, a fairly decent Jacksonville defensive line. I mean, remember, this is a playoff team last year. They went toe-to-toe with Buffalo in the playoffs. So this is a good team. And I think, Tony, we're talking about how far they are along and that this offense and this team in general were a little bit behind the curve. Well, to me, when you play a team like the Jaguars, you do see how behind the curve you actually are or how ahead of the curve you actually are. You already mentioned the offensive line. You have Monroe Freeling playing at right tackle. You didn't expect that to be the case. Now we know for a fact that we're getting back Lewis and Hunt. That's going to be a big deal. So now you're starting to see more of the cohesion that is necessary for your offensive line as a unit to gel. And let's be real, you want to see your defensive backs against Trevor Lawrence and see if they can take the ball away from him and just see how aggressive you are going to be able to play. We'll get to Jalen Phillips here in a minute, but Jalen Phillips looked damn good. Devin Lloyd looked damn good. You have a bunch of players.
They're the money makers.
Right.
They're the guys we don't need to see.
Well, but you do, though. You want your free agent picks to be looking like the guys you just paid millions of dollars to come here and ball the fuck out.
They're also going to be here regardless for a significant amount of time. CK, I'm surprised at where Cody went, and he went matchups. He wants to see individual players. T-Mac. Well, T-Mac is like the only guy that on the damn group that I don't need to see right now, unless I guess you're trying to see how he deals with the weight. How do you think the coaching staff wants to get this starting unit out there and see them do a little better? Do you think that they're feeling pressure for them to look a little better, or do you think that they are avoiding the noise and kind of going the Cody route? And that is, we're cool. We believe in the process. We'll see some matchups. We don't need to prove anything.
I think that they are learning from, in my opinion, the mistakes of the past 2 years. And that is not playing starters during the preseason in any substantial way. I think both years, the offense took way too long to get gelled together. And I think that this is a coaching staff that learned that. And I think that's a positive, at least in my mind, because that means there are things that they see and they're willing to adjust to based on those facts. So yeah, I think they do see value in these reps, and I think they see that there's some benefit to them moving forward with making this a priority, meaning the preseason.
You brought up earlier that the idea of Joe Brady in the first preseason debut in their stadium, the young coach that's supposed to spark this offense to get them over the Kansas City Chiefs, even though he was the offensive coordinator in a team that they fired that coach, right? So I guess but you can see that need, right? That young need to prove the talent. I wonder here, I think that this has got to creep in with the Panthers coaching staff, particularly with Dave Canales, and then going down to Brad Idzik. But I think the pressure's on Dave Canales that his team should look better. And I think that the Carolina Panthers are going to put a lot of effort into proving to David Tepper, to the world, that these guys are better than that any of that showed in Buffalo. And also that brings me some concern too, in a way that that noise is going to hit them. So I'll ask you this, guys, is how much do you expect the starters to play in this preseason game? Are they going to be out there? I tell you one thing is Dave Canales is going to learn if he keeps his job after this year, which I'm not saying he's on the hot seat, but he's always on the hot seat till he's not. I promise you that. Like, he is not solidified himself into anything, right? He earns himself another season each season. I tell you one thing, if you said CK, he's learning from the woes of last year of not playing the starters, I think he should fucking keep his mouth shut about how many snaps they're going to play. Like, it's like 15 to 20. And then he was like, yeah, we didn't earn anymore. It would have been the third quarter. I think you're going to come out there and say, we have a plan for our starters. And that's it. Less news, less information, because we looked at that and you're going, where's the other 7 plays? They couldn't get them. And it's criticism. Cody, how much do you think the starters play in this game? Do they play them as a unit, or are they just going to mismatch them like you hate in this past game?
No, I think they're going to do about the same amount that they did against the Bills. I think you're going to see about 10 snaps for the starters. And let's hope that we can muster a first down. We only had 1 first down, and it was called back due to penalty. That shows you how terrible we were. Like, I want to march downfield. I want to see our first team offense put some points on the board. Like, that's important. Or else, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this if they can't march downfield and at least get into field goal range?
I would say not march. That's my point, is not marching downfield. It's just look like you can win a play.
But what does that mean, Tony? It's just one play? Like, what? Again, this is why I bring up, I don't even know what the
it's not
point
about
is.
winning one play that is like, oh, we won one play. This has been the problem with this Panthers team over the last 4 years. Is you walk out there against not an equal competition. You're going out there on a Sunday against another professional team, and you just can't simply execute what is average, right? I'm not saying push the ball 80 yards down, big plays, this and that. What I'm talking about is get a run and it be positive. I'm talking about getting a positive pass and play. When I say win a down, I don't mean that just win one down. I want them to look like they can win a down. Like, oh, we called a run play. I don't care if it's vanilla or not. Hat on hat, we ran the ball and we got 3 yards. I don't need 9. I don't need 12. What I don't need is 1. You lost the play.
We could not be further apart. To me, if that's all you want, fucking get their ass to the bench. That does fucking nothing to me, dude.
All right, you know
nothing
what? If you
at all.
Cody, if
get
you
them,
can't
I want
do
more
that,
than 1 first. No, I understand, but we're saying
can't do that. Why
Tony,
would
we're
you
saying
do
the same
anything?
thing. We're saying the same thing. You want to see some competency, to see them be able to move the ball at least 3 yards. I'm saying I want way more than that. If you're running up against vanilla defenses, why aren't you running for 8 yards a clip? Now you're going to have your starting offensive lineman out there. I want to see them move down the field and at least get a field goal, dude. I'm not saying that the bar is really high here, but it needs to be more than just this. If you're going to put the starters out there, you need to give your fans something to cling on to, exactly what the Buffalo Bills did.
Okay. And you're right. Maybe we are saying the same thing. Is maybe I actually need less. You're saying I'd rather not see it. I need this or to not see it. What I just want to see is that the Carolina Panthers are becoming a team that can compete on any given Sunday in any given arena, whether that is in a preseason game when you're not playing your starters, where you just don't look like, oh man, we didn't have this. We didn't have this. We didn't have this. Is like, hey, no wins, no nothing. I don't need that. I just want us to not look outmatched like you are a Division II team playing a team that's Hall of Fame quarterback. I mean, of course they're supposed to look like that. Competency is the minimum I want. Cody, let's go ahead and take some fan calls because I'm upset. I know that the fans I don't think they're upset. I think everybody has been beaten down. To be honest, I challenge Panther fans right now to reinvigorate their disdain for, it would be one thing, disdain for mediocrity. No.
Yes.
That's not even it.
That is it.
We would be happy with mediocrity.
No, we
have not had that, bro.
Yes, we did. Last year was mediocre. Last year we won one
And we had
lost one. We
Okay.
won one. We lost one. That was mediocre. I want Panther fans to expect the best because we have built this team long enough that you should not expect anything fucking less than the best from the reigning defending NFC South champions, baby. The number is 252-228-5098. Panther Nation, join the conversation. Let us know how you feel about what you have seen.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Hey guys, John B. Jenkins calling in. Didn't get a chance to watch the Panthers-Bills game. I was down in Florida helping my mom out.
Good for
with a
you.
couple things, but I did listen in to you guys, and it sounded like we weren't doing pretty good. So I don't know. I hope Haynes King feels better soon. But luckily, at least for me, I was able to watch the IFL championship, and I won't bore you with the score, but the Arizona Rattlers beat the Green Bay Blizzard. There were some awesome storylines that were tied up in that whole affair. Max Mailer played for Green Bay last year and couldn't win it in the championship. Came back with Arizona and faced his old team and finally won the championship. And I don't know. It was exciting. It was a great game. But to call it and talk about, guys, is I down 27 today.
Oh, you're breaking
This
up, John
call
B.
is breaking up. Let me see if I.
Played my first time. What the hell am I doing or whatever, and proceeded to whoop his ass on that game with him.
it's Madden.
Let me tell you, he doesn't have the stats on that game that Bryce Young does, but if you know how to play the game, you can get him to contort his body in some weird positions when he is trying to complete a pass, and he can run too. So I don't know. If he doesn't ever play for the Panthers again, at least he plays for me in Madden 27. So I suggest all you guys go out there and get Madden 27 so you can play as Haynes King yourself. That's about all I got for you right now. Looking forward to this Jacksonville game, and I am confident we are going to get a win.
We need an age verification of the person you played in Madden. Like, CK, what do you think the best age is? Like, if you were gonna like say, the ideal age to play Madden, is it someone that's 14 to 30, 14 to 24, 20 to 40? Like, where does the sweet spot for Madden? And the reason I ask you this is I played the college football game with my son. I got that EA, so last year's college football game, we were playing it, and I realized because I'm a pro football fan, the way I think about offenses and things like this, it really doesn't match the schematics of college football. Like, their run plays are pass plays, and I'm like, run here, it's second and 3, run it, and it's like what they do is they pass it, they option, and you have to. So is that I'm too old. My thing is, it's not my age, it's my pro mindset for the college game that makes it problematic for how college football works. Pass is the run. What's the ideal age? Are young people at a disadvantage in Madden? Is the sweet spot 28?
I don't think the young people are at a disadvantage in Madden at all. I think that it just depends upon. I can get onto Madden right now and play and get curb stomped by some kids who just love Madden. I would argue
they have the hours.
Kids are better than adults at this point.
Yeah,
they got
their
the
reaction.
hours.
Well, they're just scientifically speaking, they have a better reaction time than adults, and so they're able to. That's why they tend to be better at first-person shooters and things like that. Is because they do have that ability to see things a little bit more quickly than we do and react to that thing a little more quickly. And so I think that gives younger people a bit of an upper hand. But the primary demographic, I would argue, is going to be people that are in the in their adult ages. I would argue right now you're probably seeing more of the late 20s, early 30s playing Madden than all the other demographics. But I don't think that I would go. I don't think I would be willing to put money down against a 15-year-old who plays Madden versus myself.
I think a 24 to 28 is probably the sweet spot. They've become an adult, but they're still gamers. I smoked this kid that I go to the gym with Madden last year on Xbox. I never play Xbox. But the reason I smoked him is just because I knew, and I don't even know football. I just know schematically a little bit about down and distance, about what to call and different things. And it was like just the knowledge of football helped me in that. I think that the young kids might have, the super young I'd be more scared to play a 19 or 24-year-old than I would be a 14-year-old at Madden. I would be terrified of that 14-year-old at Call of Duty, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
Real quick, 2 super chats. C-Do with the $2 C3 bomb says longest running Panthers podcast on YouTube. Appreciate you, brother. And then the Hope Dilla with the $1.99. Sean McDermott may be back next year. He's in North Carolina. Please let it happen. I would love that so freaking much, dude.
If that happens, Willie, actually is the real question. We're not going to answer it right now. The question is, if Sean McDermott back, is it at DC or head coach?
Oh,
is
shit.
it really? You want to throw a monkey wrench in the monkey works? Let's take another call. I'm going to take a more recent one to get, not more recent. We're going to get all calls in, but I'm going to bounce a little bit closer to the timeline to see, because I'm sure they got a lot to say about the pod.
Yo, what's going on, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte, man.
What up, man?
Been a minute. Hope your boys are having a good Tuesday. Just wanted to call in, talk about last week's preseason and kind of what's coming this week. You know, we got the Jags this week, joint practice there, and then the game on Friday. Hoping for good, intense environment versus the Jags, who are a good team, and hopefully we come out with no injuries. So prayers to that. Yeah, man, less than a month away from week 1. Really excited. Just kind of wanted to touch on the preseason last week. You know, I watched the game with a little caveat, knowing like a lot of the coverages and stuff they were going to be running was super vanilla. But I was still disappointed, to say the least. I really thought, for one, I'll just start with the defense. I think everyone is kind of overreacting about this defense. You know, you didn't have Morrig out there or Derek Brown. Like, you're just playing this soft, bland vanilla coverage. And I think at a couple plays there was miscommunication. I will say the only area of the defense that I really just don't like is the linebacker 2 spot. Just because I saw Claudin Chairless looking lost, Trevin Wallace looking lost. I mean, these guys just, they don't deserve to be starters, let alone second stringers, in my opinion. So, but as for the other additions, you know, Devin Lloyd made his impact, looks great. Jalen Phillips, man, I mean, on that D line with Princely, DB, and all those defensive tackles, I think we're going to have something there this year, man. Like, I'm really excited about that going into the future. Defense to me will be fine. Mike Jack, you know, he said, like, he got mixed up on a coverage on one play.
Hold on. He's still going.
You know, I'm not worried about the defense. Like, the defense was 15th last year overall, and they got 2 big-time ads. I think they'll be great. My main concern is with this offense, man. And I've continuously said it on Twitter, in chats, and all over the place. The free-for-all. They were 27th overall last year. And, you know, we didn't add anything to this offense. Obviously, we added Brazel. He got hurt. But internally now, it's like, man, disappointed what I saw in the preseason. You know, couldn't even convert a first down, 3 and out. The offense looks stagnant. Chandler Zavala, why is he on this team? Like, Canales continuously misevaluates the offensive line and the depth. He did this last year with Corbin and Mays, and he's doing it again this year. Zavala doesn't deserve to be starting over Kierhan, in my opinion. But obviously, we didn't have Rob Hunt and Dame Lewis out there, but it still sucks, man. Give me your thoughts. I was embarrassed with the offense. Keep motherfucking pounding.
Thank you, Anthony, for the call. And this is the point that I think, trying to make when it comes to the offense, Cody, is the defense overall. We'll go to this. Actually, we can, I don't know if you want to weave it in right now. We're talking about, we had Joe Person talking about the pros, the winners and the losers, and or stock up, stock down, and stock down was the overall defense, right? And questions among Panther fans about the Ejiro Evero system. CK has notably been a person that said Evero should have been gone. Whether or not he's good or not is like, this was the time. People have asked about the 3-4 system, but we watched on that first drive, or those first couple of the first two drives, while there were moments that you're like, oh, this Panthers defense isn't shutting down everything, and Joe Brady and them are pulling out all the stops with emotion and whatever it may be, they did move the ball, but then there were some signs of life from defensive lineman Princely Umamilan. You saw Jaden Phillips, right? And you're like, you saw Devin Walker, these guys, Devin Lloyd, excuse me.
Do you want me to play the Baldinger clip?
Yeah. What I would add, I guess this is, you play it and then you can answer, or you answer and then play it, is that the Panthers defense didn't play all of their starters. They're missing Derek Brown. We're not going, oh, the defense. I don't think that the defense looked completely incapable, is what I'm saying. Is like, did they look like they're going to be the elite defense of the world? I'm not sure I'm going to go there, but I don't think you're sitting there going, oh, well, this defense would have been so much better. Like he said, oh, Derek Brown's out there, not out there. We're making a ton of excuses for this offense, but on this defense, we can say, oh, there's value there. There's value there.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, the free agents that you signed to be big-time difference makers on this defense, they showed out. I'm far less worried about the defense than I am about the offense because of some of the stuff you mentioned. We didn't keep them out that long. No Derek Brown. But, man, whenever you see Brian Baldinger already heaping praises on some of the Panthers' defensive players, to me, you're trending in the right direction.
Big free agent signings of the Panthers to the defense. Jalen Phillips right here. All right, left tackle's laid off the ball. Down goes Josh Allen. How about this win right here? How about this clean inside move right here? Sweet inside swim. All right, now he's got Josh Allen, and only Josh Allen can, fight him off right here. But still, he gets him to make that throw. All right, then on the inside, double nickel right there. Devin Lloyd. He's going to read this play as soon as the ball's tossed. Look at the angle and watch Lloyd fly. Nobody can cut him off right here.
Woo-hoo!
Tackle for loss.
I love
there.
that right there,
Cook,
boy.
the league's leading rusher from a year ago. And then on this inside blitz right here, coming right at Josh Allen, beating the back right here. Inside move. Now Josh Allen's flushed. Now on the run, he makes an errant throw. I would say those two guys that were at the top of the board in free agency made an impact in that first quarter.
Yes, sir, they did. Man, dude, I love seeing good linebacker play. We have not had it in such a long time. What a breath of fresh air. And again, even though the Buffalo Bills scored and they were pretty much able to do what they wanted to for the most part in that game, Tony CK, when you have flashes like that, that's what I really want to see from preseason football. I want to see our guys beat their main guys.
That's my point. But just flipping it to the offense, do I walk away from here, CK, and go, oh, the Panthers gave up a touchdown? There was a couple of run plays that they got just beat up on, and there was a lot of space. And I go, I'm not walking away saying the Panthers defense stinks, but what I saw was a Panthers defense that was competent at certain times and places with certain players. That's all I wanted to. That's my argument for the offense. Why is this not the case? Or I guess the case. There have been, and maybe that's why there isn't as much yelling and screaming about the defense, but there has been. I mean, Joe Person's stock down was the overall defense. Like, it should have been better. The stock down should have been the overall offense. That should have been it. It should have been the interior guards, the overall offense. The Panthers with this current group cannot play on Sundays.
No, I think we saw way too many weaknesses with this team. It was not the same team we have seen playing, effective football over the past, last year. Even when there was some, unfortunately, as some of the chat has talked about, some consistency around our inconsistency, if you will. But it did not look like this is a team that had cohesion. While I do think that the parts that were incredibly valuable, I'm going to go, and start to flip a lot of our problems on what I saw on the defense too. We fixed a lot of our pass rush issue, right, with this, and I think the addition of Devin Lloyd and Jalen Phillips are absolutely noticeable. But I cannot tell you the amount of times that we got pressure. Don't get me wrong, but there was a wide receiver with nobody within 15 yards of them. It wasn't even like if you were to compare offenses to our offense to their offense, we had tight coverage throughout the entire time. There might have been some open receivers, but there was nobody wide open. It felt like in the majority of the Bills' plays, the pass plays, there was just a dude with nobody next to him, whether it was their first team or their second team. That's what it felt like to me. And that seems like it's a schematic problem more so than anything else, because we have the proper people on this team. There should be no scenario where DJ Moore is able to run a literal short crosser and have nobody even within a reasonable distance from him.
You mean that DJ Moore play where he's just
wide open.
No one around him.
Nobody around. How are you letting their number one wide receiver that they just traded for, you're letting him go just for free with nobody accounting for him, right? And so to me, again, you can call me a Evero hater, like you can call Cody a Bryce Young hater, right? But I'm just telling you what I saw, and what I saw was a team that, or at least from a scheme, that did not look prepared to guard actual wide receivers. That was where I felt like our weakness was on this defense, was now we've flipped. Our secondary was not effective, but our pass rush and our run stopping was a little bit better. So that was probably something that's equally as worrisome as our offense not having any rhythm.
The number is 252-228-5098. Let me see. We had Anthony. Let's go to the next call. I'm trying to figure out how to make it so my phone doesn't just time out at 2 minutes.
What's going on, everybody? It's me, C-Dog1983 TV. Whenever you come in here, can you please hit the like button? Can you please subscribe to the great content? The C3 podcast is the longest podcast on YouTube. They go live every Tuesday. They got a free for all every Friday. And they got the game recaps every Sunday during the season and during preseason. But real quick, man, this Bills game was embarrassing.
Yeah.
The most embarrassing thing about it was, like, man, Bryce Young taking a sack. Like, how does Haynes King have more pocket awareness than Bryce Young as a rookie, as an undrafted quarterback, an undrafted free agent rookie quarterback? Has more pocket awareness than Bryce Young. I'm done with Bryce. You know, like, there is no, what's the word I'm looking for? No, like, where's the clock in his head? Like, man, even if I'm playing Madden football video game, I know I only have like 3 seconds tops to throw the ball if I'm throwing the ball. Even less than that, it's just a play action. You know, like, but I just don't understand that everybody was getting so excited about Bryce Young in practice, cussing, telling people to clean shit up. But clean shit up in the fucking game, Bryce. All that shit in practice don't mean shit to me. What do you do in the real fucking game? You know what I'm saying? And hopefully we can get to see Haynes King one more time, you know. And Haynes King should be. If Haynes King come out and play one more game before this preseason end and balls out again, go ahead and cut Kenny Pickett and make Haynes King the number 2 quarterback. And then Bryce Young, you on a short fucking leash with Sea-Dog. You know, it just is what it is. He's just not a gamer. He's not a baller. Haynes King.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. Sorry.
He's a baller. He's a gamer, and he's from Texas. You know, I didn't even know he was from Texas. I don't know how he went from Texas to Georgia Tech, but that's another story. But man, that game was depressing, man. You know, going from the Hall of Fame game into watching the game against the Bills, the only thing was exciting was the pass rush with Pritzley and got them Jason Phillips. We will have a pass rush, you know. Will we have a competent quarterback to put points on the board, you know? Then everybody must have got, man, he had a game last year where he threw for like 500 yards, you know. The week after that, he had a game where he threw for 54 yards. Then even Dave Canales had an interview when they were asking Canales what's different about Bryce Young this season. The only thing he said was he's a year older. You know, that's not telling me shit. You know, that's not telling me anything. Everybody get a year older.
Yeah, that's not a very good answer.
Everybody in this fucking chat got to have a birthday every fucking year. So that's not telling me.
Thank you, Sea-Dog. Brand ambassador for the C3 Panthers podcast. Great friend of ours.
I tried to tell you, Tony, this Haynes King story, it's not going away, bro. It's not going away. And I even think there's a conspiracy. They're trying to shelve my man. You're going to tell me this hamstring is still lingering? Even now? Come on, dude. I think they're shelving him. I don't think they want the controversy. That's why my tinfoil hat's on.
I mean, I do think there is I don't think it's a conspiracy to shelve him. I think is that the Carolina Panthers, I think they're going to put him on IR. I think that's what they're going to do because then that avoids them having to take up a roster spot. And I forget who I saw, somebody on Twitter. So this is not just me that came up with this. I saw somebody on Twitter say this right out the gate. As soon as the hamstring injury came out, is like, this is playing chess right now, is that, oh, he's got a little injury. He's not going to be the quarterback. We don't want a quarterback controversy necessarily, but we don't have the luxury of being able to stash this guy on a practice squad. That's not going to happen. The Carolina Panthers are going to have to roster him and be willing to play him and be willing to deal with a potential controversy, I guess, which I don't think they're worried about the controversy. I think they're worried about this is that they don't think he is ready to be the dude, but that they're not ready to let someone else swoop in and take him away and find a way to do it. Stash him on IR, avoid him going to the practice squad, someone else poaching it, and then you roll in there with the Bryce Young season, a regular backup. Nobody's worried about Kenny Pickett. Like, not worried. I think Kenny Pickett is a perfect backup. I really am happy. I think Pickett is perfect for this team. Competent enough, but not too competent that then puts pressure and controversy on the Bryce Young. Bryce Young has one bad game. I don't think even the Bryce Young haters are going to come out and be like, Pickett for quarterback, Pickett for quarterback.
That's my point.
King
that's
there,
why
though.
that's my point, Tony.
It's
that's why there's a
It's
conspiracy.
intentional.
They don't want sweet little baby Bryce to have the fear of someone breathing down his neck. A 6'3" gunslinger who runs a 4.46, looking to take that spot. Damn it!
This is why
they don't
Cam
want
Newton
that
could never.
smoke.
This is why Cam Newton could never be a backup quarterback. And people, you remember that time period where people were like, and even Cam was like, I'm better than these backup quarterbacks. There's a reason that teams did not have Cam Newton as a backup, because he is better and he's likely equally as good as your starter. And if your starter is struggling, you know this. I don't care if Cam's shoulder wasn't and was and this and that. Cam can get you a first down. He can move the chains. You can do a lot of different things. he's good enough to be productive and exciting. That's why there are certain people that are built for backup quarterback roles and certain people that are not. And if you don't want this right now, Cody, you don't want coming off of like a poor preseason. They stashed this away. The Carolina Panthers start 1-3, and Bryce Young isn't doing that great. You don't want a guy who has the ability to like, oh, let's run the option. Let's do some different things.
But
that right away is going to cause everything.
You do want that.
No,
what do you mean?
You don't want that right now. You've got to really learn what you've got.
I felt like I was watching a different team with King. Everyone felt like more was possible to us. Look, man, I'm just saying I want to see more Haynes King. I do not believe he is as injured as they say he is. I want to see more of Haynes. If Bryce is not good, I want to feel like there is the pressure of this young gunslinger who has the potential to come in and step up and do something.
Oh, God. Yeah, okay. The number's 252-228-5098. I've got a poll up in the chat. If Sean McDermott was with the return to the Carolina Panthers in 2027, what would you bet on him being, the head coach or the defensive coordinator? I say head coach. That's what I say, is that if this defense stinks, this offense ain't killing it, then everybody's going, and it's time to reset to center and proven. Sean McDermott, my vote would be for head coach. Right now, I believe defensive coordinator is winning. Additionally, guys, hit up this. We're going to do a little, we're going to call on the C3 Panthers fans to get a little momentum. Troy Pride Jr., I saw this, is that he had worked out with the San Francisco 49ers. He put up an image today on his Twitter that of the defensive workbooks, not playbooks, but these are workbooks that they're going to give guys that are making the team. Panthers, Raiders, Saints, Cowboys, Texans. So he's been working and trying to stay in the league. He had a visit to the 49ers. This has kind of gone on fire a little bit, as somebody asked right away, right under it, and people have been laughing about it. How was Matt Rule, was the question. Troy Pride Jr., his response was, you saw it with your own eyes, and it's taken on this little life. I've messaged Troy Pride Jr. and asked him to come on the C3 Panthers podcast, not specifically to talk, but to talk ball, to talk about his journey, what's going on in his life and what he's trying to fight for, what we can learn from the preseason, and yeah, maybe a little insight into the Panthers past. You guys, hey, flood them. I mean, not flood, but yeah, mention, we want you on the C3 Panthers podcast at Troy Pride 18. Maybe that will make my direct message hit a little harder. Let's go to another call. The number's 252-228-5098.
Real quick, this is me, C-Dog 1983 TV. Man, I had to make a second call. I'm sorry. C3 podcast.
You get it, bro.
Real quick, man.
You're brand ambassador.
From the game against the Bills, forced starters, this offensive line. Now, our rookie, we had our rookie out there playing right tackle. I already told y'all, man, just put him at left tackle, and if he get beat out, just let him be the backup. But even at right tackle, he didn't look good, you know? Like, man, some of the shit we be doing, man, I just don't understand. You drafted a left tackle, let him play fucking left tackle. Until he get beat out by Rashawn Walker, why the fuck you playing right tackle? I don't give a fuck if goddamn Taylor Moton is fucking hurt. Don't put my rookie left tackle at goddamn right tackle. Put Brady Christensen over there. I don't give a fuck. Make it fucking work. Like, put the goddamn rookie Reese, whatever his name was. He looked good in the Hall of Fame game. Just bump him up and be the starter at right tackle, you know. But man, some of the shit they be doing, they be pissing me the fuck off, you know. Morgan Freeland, whatever my man, the big boy, my big boy from Georgia, put him at left tackle.
Monroe Freeland.
Get him on the fucking right side. Didn't even look right. You got this motherfucker coming in the NFL, putting him on the goddamn right side when he's a fucking left tackle. I don't want to hear shit about the Sea-Dog. Sometimes they got to put him over here on the right side. I don't give a fuck about that shit. Put him on the goddamn left side. He was doing left tackle in college. Put him at left tackle. for us. Now, real quick, Chelo Zavala, cut him. He's fucking trash. What the fuck are we doing? Chelo Zavala is the fucking turnstile on the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gonna get by his ass. He can't block shit. He can't block a fucking thing, dog. He can't block a fucking fly, a fucking mosquito. Get him out of here. We don't need to see no more of fucking Chelo Zavala. Get him the fuck out of here. Now, real quick on this defense. Nick Scott. Why Nick Scott still got them starting? You know, Justin got them safeties 2 years back to back. And we got fucking Isaiah Simmons. Let me see if we got them Isaiah Simmons got. But I'm tired of seeing Nick Scott fuck up and got them coverage. He always fucking up. I don't need to see no more of fucking Nick Scott. Period. Nick Scott better not make this fucking team, man. Like, shit like this be pissing me the fuck off, man. I was at the game last year, the first game of the goddamn year. Nick Scott got that Mr. Goddamn crucial tackle where ETN had a long ass touchdown run on us in Jacksonville. He always fucking up. I'm tired of seeing Nick Scott. You telling me Nick Scott better than goddamn let them ransom? Let them ransom. All he do is make goddamn plays. All he do is fucking tackle and wrap the fuck up.
Nick Scott continues to be the punching bag, the kicking bag for Carolina fans. I don't think he's as bad as this. I want to talk about Zavala, though. Zavala was I have never, ever presented myself as a football expert, as a guy that, like, knows technique, knows X's and O's. I have one simple thing. I watch football every week. I have an eye test. This and that, right? Like, I mean, that's it. It's just like, that's why I don't claim to be an expert. Zavala was drafted. He comes in here in this first year, and through camp in the early states when he was a backup, the football heads, the football experts, I explicitly remember this, the people that are not football experts but also claim to be, were like, Zavala's way better than anybody's giving him credit. Way. I mean, he's it. He's got this. He's got this. Is like, and he needs to be usurping Brady Christians. He needs to usurp this person. Usurp this. You got a gem. Oh, then he comes out. He has fucking 10 penalties in one game. I think at one point the eye test will tell us this. He had the most penalties in any game. The most penalties. Like, okay, I don't need to shit on this guy. I don't need to say cut him. I don't need to do any of this. Cody, you talked about this, is that we didn't have our starters out there, but Zavala is not this guy's 3 years in the league.
Yeah.
He's 3 years in the league trying to be a competent backup. And now that's what he needs to be for him.
He needs to be, but I don't even think that's what they drafted him to be.
No,
they drafted him to be when he was drafted at the time under Fitterer. They wanted him to be the full-time left guard because he played next to Ike Ekwonu at NC State.
Who cares what they drafted him for?
Any of that. He's not good. You may say don't cut him.
I'm not calling. What I'm saying is this: I don't have to call to cut him. That's like, that does not gonna make me feel better about myself. Right. What I am saying is your argument was that we didn't have our starters. And this is why it sucked. My argument, in a sense, kind of going back to those football expert football heads, is that why is Zavala not a more competent backup 3 years in the league? We're not talking about rookie.
Oh, no.
We're not talking about a guy. By the way, we're not talking about a guy who I just mentioned. I said, like, the players that I love, these undrafted free agents, a Damiere Byrd, the reason I love them so much is they get limited reps, they fight, they claw, they stay in the league. This guy has had real playing time in real game situation. He started like 20 games. Or maybe, I don't know, I'm just making up that number, but he has played on Sundays on this team for several years.
Tony,
and what we're talking about is now people are like, where are all the Zavala fucking truthers?
Dude, Tony, this is what I'm saying to you. Think of it this way: Brady Christensen has had to play every position on the offensive line. Zavala has only had to play one. He's only played left guard. Maybe he played a little bit of right guard. I don't remember. Brady Christensen came in after being back on the team for a couple weeks, and Christensen looked good at right guard. And Zavala still looks hapless and lost. Tony, the fact of the matter is some players do not develop like others. He has not been a player that we can depend on. He has not developed to be better than even when we drafted him. He has shown no improvement. And the fact that he is the backup left guard, that's very concerning. And there's a story floating around that they're not ruling out Kim Ekwonu. Are you ready for this?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They're not ruling out Kim Ekwonu to be ready for week one.
Week one. All right. So this
Ready
story,
for week one. He needs to be a guard for the Carolina Panthers, like I have always said that he needs to be. It's where he belongs.
Talk about this. Let's talk about it right now. This story came about because, or at least I won't say came about. We have heard slightly in the background from Canales and them that Ekwonu is doing great in his recovery. But who do they always say that about every person coming back from injury. Have you ever heard somebody be like, oh, fucking way behind schedule? Just like they say about the offense. It's like, oh, or a training camp. We're great training camp, best training camp, fighting hard, right? Is that you expect them to always just say, look, he's working hard. He's doing everything. He is putting in the work. He's with the team. He's doing all these things. They don't say timelines, though. They just say, look, this is more for the player, I think, is to keep them in good spirits, them PR as well, for them to look good. But this is what came about. A Chicago Bear, and do you have the guy's name by any chance? Coincidentally,
I don't remember his name.
I gotta find it real quick. Is Chicago?
You're talking about
Bear,
the Bear
Patella,
who suffered the same
day.
injury,
Same
injury, same day, and he's back.
Well, or no, but the team. All right, so this is what this is. Ooh, let's just see latest top. What is today? Today's the 18th. All right, so this is from Ari Merov at My Sports Update. Bears left tackle Ozzy Trapilo. Sounds like he got a little Italian or something. Trapilo, who ruptured his patella tendon in the January playoffs and was expected by many to miss all of 2026, has already been activated off of PUP and can now begin practicing. An incredibly fast recovery and way ahead of schedule. August 16th, this story comes out. Now let's put in a Kim. How do you spell a Kim? Is it
I-K-E-M.
All right, a Kim Ekwonu. So on the 16th, 2 days ago, on the 17th, the Panthers announced, this is according to Panthers Wire, at Panthers Wire, Panthers head coach Dave Canales says left tackle Kim Ekwonu is progressing really well and wouldn't rule him out for week one. I don't know. I'm telling you, these mugs all listen to each other. I'm so tired of them saying they don't listen to everything. I think they're probably listening to our fucking podcast right now. But this this guy did it and he's ready. All of a sudden, Ekwonu, who we're like, oh, don't expect anything. How the hell, like, what are they rushing him? Is this a change in events? But now Ekwonu, who's progressed, I wouldn't rule him out for week one after I saw how Chandler Zavala did against the Buffalo Bills. He might as well said that.
But dude, I also think that when you're a player who now your future on the team is in question and you don't know what your free agent market is going to look like, I'll be damned, Tony, if that's not some incentive to attack your offseason preparation and your rehabilitation on that patellar tendon. He's been out there. He's been working. He's been with this team. And I genuinely think, especially when you look at how piecemeal the offensive line is already looking, man, this could be an opportunity for us to see Icky where he should have been all along. Dog says Icky's a guard all day. Man says Icky would be an all-pro guard. Remember, when he was drafted, you had analysts saying that Akim Ekwonu could be a day one guard. He always had questions in pass protection at tackle, but if you put him as a guard, letting him go downhill, imagine Jonathan Brooks running behind a pulling Akim Ekwonu. That's the stuff of nightmares, damn it. That's what I'm saying.
I look, I think this is, and I have been also saying this and agreeing with you, is that it's not that he can't do it. It would not have been in his best interest financially when he was healthy and getting better at left tackle to say, I'm willing to play guard, because all of a sudden you're talking about a significant financial cut, right? And what his financial potential could be. But right now, if Ike Ekwonu does not play at all this season, and then he comes back and hits free agency, right? Because we have him on his 5th-year option this year. The Carolina Panthers is like, he's not going to command top money at a tackle position, right? You saw Rasheed Walker, who has been equivalent to Akim Ekwonu in his performance ultimately in his grading, who hasn't had an injury, didn't get this giant deal. Right now, Akim Ekwonu this is an easy transition for him to stay in the league and make money and to stay around, right? Imagine if he said, no, I won't play guard, I want to wait for the money. He might not ever be on a team again, or might not make the big money. This is the way that you get what you want without him sacrificing his financial future to do it, Cody.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And you know, we also have to talk about Taylor Moton too. We don't know how long he's going to be with the team. I think he seemed excited about his future here, but blood clots in your lungs is no joke. But you also drafted Monroe Freeling, and I think even in spite of Walker, they view Monroe Freeling as the future at left tackle. And man, having Freeling next to Akim Ekwonu on that left side for the foreseeable future, man, that sounds good to me, man. I'm into it.
I don't know, CK, how this is just coincidence. I don't care how Akim Ekwonu has been progressing the same rate that he was progressing 4 days ago, a week ago. All of a sudden now, this other guy has been activated. The Panthers are struggling at the interior. They need more depth, period. They're not saying we're going to activate them and start them over Freeland. There's no way they're going to come out and say that. They're not going to say, Rasheed Walker, you lost your spot while you've had a big camp to Akim Ekwonu because he's been part of our team and we like him. All of a sudden now, Akim Ekwonu might be playing week 1. Come on, CK, is the noise. I am irritated.
What? You're irritated.
I'm irritated that the people that we all think are fucking so smart and so in the know are just as influenced as everybody else. This is I want to say panic, but no. Oh well, fuck. We need a guard. I mean, god damn. Like now we'll start to think about it because Zavala sucks.
I don't think that I don't know that this is reactionary. I think that this is them, you know, I think they, again, and I'm going back to a thing that we have talked about before. I think that they've learned a valuable lesson in the past, and that they genuinely aren't trying to bring somebody back before they're ready. You know, I think they learned that with Jonathan Brooks. I don't think they're going to be willing to do that again. So I don't think that if he isn't ready, I don't think they're going to be willing to put him out there. I don't think that's going to be a thing we have to worry about. No, honesty.
You don't think if your job is slightly contingent on immediate success that you will push things to the limit a little?
I mean, as far as the are you talking about Dave Canales and Dan Morgan? Or are you talking about it?
I don't think Dan Morgan say. I think this is Dan Morgan. I mean, not Dan Morgan. I think Dave Canales has very little grace beyond Bryce Young. I think there's a chance that there could be a Carolina Panthers in 2027 where Bryce Young wasn't on the starting quarterback and Dave Canales was the head coach. I do not see a scenario in the world where Bryce Young is the starting quarterback and Dave Canales is not the head coach. I could conceive a world where Dave Canales somehow maintained his job and you're like, okay, this and that. But I don't believe that. I think Dave Canales is playing just a little bit with a little bit more house money than Bryce Young is. I think this is Carolina Panthers walk out there 4 and what would it be? 4-13. I don't see him as the head coach anymore. I think the pressure is on him enough to perform. And I don't think that they're like, oh, well, the long-term plan is if we brought Robert Hunt back for that game, that last game to try to make the playoffs or that playoff game. He could have said this is let's rest him. Sure. I feel like is this a coincidence? Tinfoil hat me, Cody. We only have a couple more calls and a couple more things to talk about. Let's go to
then I really want to get to this new signing.
We kind of mentioned it here.
We have to do more than just mention it.
I'm gonna play we got to get into it. The number's 252-228-5098. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, be a C3 super fan. Cody, I'm playing the call. You got the response.
Hey guys, it's the girl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Boy and Panther.
Joey!
Guys, I watched that game on the beach, and when it was starters versus starters, we looked like ass. Now, I guess it might have been rust or something or whatever it was, and if you're going to have that type of game, the preseason is a place to do it. And look, we're going to see Bryce Young. Like, whether we want to admit it or not, we're going to see Bryce Young. He's going to be our starter. So he absolutely needs to play more in the preseason so we can get this rust out of him because he looks like shit right now. But, I mean, the fact that Kenny Pickett looked better than Bryce, and he wasn't even that good. I mean, Kenny Pickett wasn't even that good, and it was the goddamn preseason. But he's Super Bowl champion. Like, God, I guess the league was hard up for a quarterback that year. I think he was the first quarterback off the board that year. Because when the year we picked up, was it Horn or Derek Brown? I can't remember what year Kenny Pickett was taken. But he wasn't all that. Kyle Trask,
2022.
And notice the quarterback that didn't play, Haynes King. Are we resting the starter, ladies and gentlemen? Where's Haynes King when we need him? All hail the king. Anyway, guys.
Wow. That deep bellow, I like it, Joey. I don't know. I think they're stashing Haynes King, CK. I know I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't. I think they want Bryce and Kenny to feel like they are entrenched as QB1 and QB2. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. Again, I have a hard time thinking that they're going to be willing to put him in this category of like we need to protect him from himself being as young as he is. I think he showed a lot in that Hall of Fame game. And I think it was incredibly exciting to see what he could possibly be if he's ever needing to be the guy to step into the role. I don't know that I'm willing to get super excited about it,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This team, CK, I think what's the most frustrating is I can't even say that they're trending in the right direction.
Sure.
Other than a few good defensive plays by Jalen Phillips and Devin Lloyd and even Princely going out there looking aggressive and getting after the quarterback, there's nothing that I can really hang my hat on to say this is a team that I feel is moving forward the right way. I don't feel that. Now, maybe with how proactive they've been in free agency, including this next signing, maybe that does really let you know that they're trying to add as much firepower for what they feel can be a legitimate competing team this year.
I think that's fair. I think they are genuinely trying to add, as much as they possibly can. I think I think it's reasonable to look at the performance that we had against the Bills and start to have maybe a moment of panic, and maybe they do let that influence their decision making. But I don't know. I think one preseason game is not going to be enough for them to change how they view doing what's best for a player. If I'm being just completely honest.
Cody, let's go to Darren Waller, but I want to throw Sea-Dog for a loop real quick.
Do it.
Carolina Panthers tweeted out 13 hours ago. If I put it up, will it show? Or do you got to remove your...
No, put it up.
Because we have to always remove and then... Nick Scott transformed his entire mental approach to the game. The result has changed the entire Panthers defense. Secondary functions will examine the mental approach around the triangle of the Panthers defense. Read more, Panthers.com. Sea-Dog's head just exploded. There you go. I don't think Nick Scott is as bad as everybody says he is. But at the same time, I understand where they're coming from. But the Panthers, they are in love. Cody, we're going to talk about this. Let me foreshadow one other thing I want to talk about later in the show after this. I want one thing, and we did not put it in the show, I want you guys to think about. A lot of Panther fans who are hardcore junkie Panther fans too are sitting here. They're on these new young wide receivers, right? These guys that are fighting to make the team. And David Moore taking fucking bullets after this game from a lot of Panther fans about how, Dave Canales can't coach this team without David Moore. He shouldn't make the team. I still think David Moore makes this team. We'll talk about David Moore in a moment. More importantly, though, the Carolina Panthers, we said the tight end room was thin. We've mentioned this for months into weeks. Mitchell Evans rolled his I tell you this is right away. Once Mitchell Evans rolled his ankle on the first or second day of practice in training camp, it's like, what are they going to do at tight end? Well, the Carolina Panthers have done something. They went and got a musical talent. And Darren Waller, Cody.
Yes, sir. Former Pro Bowl tight end Darren Waller has signed a 1-year deal with the Carolina Panthers. We had talked about this a little. How much do they trust Jatavian Sanders? Mitchell Evans had that one injury in practice. So, we were wondering, well, would they go out and make a move? And they made the best move that they possibly could. And what I want to say about Darren Waller is this. I genuinely believe. So, by the way, this is what Dave Canales said. You can play him like a tight end. You can play him like a receiver. He's huge. just standing with him out there. He's all of 6'6.5". He's lean. He can run. All those things. It's a unique element that he brings to whatever offense he's been a part of. The goal is now, the goal is just to throw him in that room, challenge that room, and see what guys want to elevate and create that role for Bryce Young. And Tony CK, my theory is this. They were depending on having a big body wide receiver target in the offense this year, and more than one. You already know you have T-Mac. You already know you have Jalen Coker. But then they drafted Chris Brazzell, 6'4", huge catch radius, and then you lose him for the season. They were already talking about moving T-Mac to the slot because of the presence of Chris Brazzell. I think this is just as much a receiver move as it is a tight end move. They want a big body receiving target for Bryce Young so that he has a bunch of different options with the wide catch radius at Bryce Young's disposal. I love this move, and I think that he can really help us compete this year. And his stats bear that out. He was still one of the better tight ends in football last year.
Whoa.
I have
one of the better. Okay. I mean, 552. No. He had 283 yards.
I'll pull up the PFF. But
he only started 3 games though. I guess now, I mean, if you look at it like that, 3 games started, played 9 games, 283 yards. Here's the number though. He had 6 touchdowns in that span.
In that amount of span. Dude, he was one of the better tight ends when he was playing.
All right, CK, give us your thoughts on Darren Waller, what he does for the offense, the signing, whatever you want to go with it.
I think that this is probably a signing that happens because they aren't thrilled with what we have at tight end.
We knew they weren't thrilled, right?
Yeah, but I think you still hold out hope for a Jatavian Sanders to step up to the plate, Mitchell Evans, any of these guys that you drafted that you were hoping to develop into the guy. And if they haven't shown what you had anticipated them showing, then I think that becomes a bit more of a, I don't know, it becomes a little bit more concerning in what that looks like in this room. I don't think when you look at the fact that we had like 5 tight ends on the roster and they still made the decision to go tight end in the free agency market with Darren Waller. Do I think the dude is going to come in here and be a Greg Olsen type of player? I can only hope, but no, I don't put that expectation on him. But I do think that having that veteran presence can be helpful for a team of tight ends who maybe only have the veteran presence of Greg Olsen from time to time.
CK, well, you said that, how did you phrase it? That they came to believe, like they were hoping that these guys were going to do it. The reason I'm asking, like, and I'm trying to, I wish I would have wrote down exactly like the verbiage you said here, is because it felt like the Panthers didn't believe in their tight end room, but believed enough that they could manage it in maybe a move like this, maybe a move like this was destined, or that they don't think that the tight end room is the most pivotal turning point. Did they really think, CK, that the tight end room was going to step up into this, or did they always think that the tight end room was semi-manageable that needed to be managed? You know, like, is like, I feel like the more I think about it, because I'm with you, is like when I think back, I was like, oh, we can get by. We don't want to spend the money. We don't want to spend the draft picks. We want to, but I don't know if they ever truly believed in the group, period.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to think that they had high hopes for this squad, but I think, again, right now, we have a pretty clear-cut answer about their opinion about what this team is, or what this tight end group was. To go out and get a guy like Darren Waller, you're not getting him to sit the bench.
You don't think so? I mean,
No,
30. He's
Hell
30.
no.
He
was one of the most legit red zone targets last year. The Knoll says Walker had 6 touchdowns in 9 games. He's a legit red zone target. We don't need him to have 100-yard games. That's not what he's
and
here
he did
for.
that with Miami.
I know. And everything they had going on. This is Darren Waller talking about his time here with the Panthers and why he came.
I really feel like there was, something greater that was pushing me back into the game. I feel like there was a lot left, and I feel like at the time that I was on the field last year, I feel like it was really clear to me that I still had a lot left. It's really just about playing the game, enjoying each and every opportunity I have now. I don't know how much time will be left, but I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to play this season. I'm super excited about it.
Yes, sir.
Who would you say the best out of the group right now? Right, that the best tight end prior to this signing was on the team? Is it Jatavian Sanders? Is it Mitchell Evans? Is it Tommy Tremble? Who just give me so I can look them up.
I mean, probably last year it was Mitchell Evans, huh?
I mean,
Tremble
Tremble had 27. All right, I have Tremble up. Maybe I shouldn't have just asked. Maybe
But Tremble was injured for a good portion of last year too, wasn't he?
Nah, he started 16 games.
Did he really?
Yeah. This number, I was looking at Darren Waller's
Sanders,
stats.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was looking at Darren Waller's stats, and my argument is, regardless of his age, right, is I don't think necessarily comes in and transforms the Carolina Panthers, right? Because if he was this, we're the least. We don't got the money. We don't got the offense. If he had his pick of the litter, he's not picking us. We picked him. But I think he makes the Panthers. He doesn't make them worse, right?
No, not at all.
I think he makes the group inherently better. The crazy thing, not the crazy thing, is that he's had 2 1,000-yard seasons in his career.
That's where he started. Man, dude is legit.
He started 11 games on a terrible Las Vegas Raiders team in 2021. He still had 600 yards. Still in 2022, 388 yards. I know that's not a great number. When he went to, but he was dealing with ultimately what I think, and I don't think I'm getting this wrong, is that was dealing with basically painkiller, drug and depression issues that surround a lot of players. I'm not saying it's look, I got to play, shoot me up with that cortisone. Let me take these. But he then went to the Giants. He had 552 yards in 12 games. All of these numbers are better than any of our players do in 16 games. Last year, 200. But this is what's crazy about this is from 2018. Not crazy. From 2018 to 2025, yards per reception. This is an interesting stat for me. And I don't know, maybe the number's not as cool as I think. 12.5 yards per reception, 2018, 12.7, 2019, 11.2, 12.1, 13.9, 10.6, 11.8. Smug is catching first downs. Now, Tommy Tremble last year, not last year, in his career, and last year he had 9.2 yards per reception. He had 10.2, but he had 234 yards. He's never had more than 250 yards. I feel like this on Darren Waller's worst day, he's inherently better than these guys. And I'm not saying they can't be good, but a broken, he's talented. We don't need him to be the greatest. But if this guy gets 500 yards, that's twice as much as Tommy Tremble had last year.
Yeah, I mean, that's my, I think you hope going into this training camp that you have a guy that's going to step up I think this signing is a direct reflection of the fact that they don't see that guy yet in any of the guys they had. And I don't know that they've lost hope that that guy can't exist amongst any of these guys. But I think that right now they realize if their window started last year, we got to act on this window and fill all the voids we possibly can through a free agency pickup.
Cody, how much do you think the Panthers, regardless of his talent, regardless of the red zone threat, I know that you are, I feel like I'm working with an attorney on the other side in you that has already integrated an argument. Well, he's not just a tight end. He is a receiver. He's a Chris Brazzell replacement. I feel like you've already planted a seed to try to address this argument that I'm going to ask you to make. Is regardless of how good, bad, if you get this talent come in, does the Panthers offense integrate a tight end? Does a star tight end, Matt, and I won't say a star because any star can matter. You get the ball in their hands and something happens. But you look at what this offense has done, the struggles it's had, its historical challenges of finding a way to make a tight end group. Can you put a great tight end on this team and play them as a tight end?
Yeah.
Can Bryce, is it scheme? Is Bryce got a problem seeing the middle? If you put a good one right in the middle in their prime, are they going to be as good as they can be? Does Darren Waller move the needle if he is just a tight end, or did you make that argument as a slippery attorney trying to plant seeds of doubt?
Tony, this conversation is like the chicken or the egg. Do the Panthers underutilize the tight end because they haven't had good talent in the tight end room to actually utilize the tight end? Or does this offense just not really prioritize getting the ball to the tight end? And to me, that's why I'm so excited about this, because Darren Waller answers this question directly. He's only, 245 pounds? He's not a big dude. He's not necessarily someone
probably
that you
lighter
want
right now, to be honest.
He's not someone that you want blocking a defensive end or an outside linebacker. He is a receiving threat, like I alluded to earlier. Knowing that Bryce Young is basically in a contract year, he's playing for that big-time extension. They want to give him every possible weapon to be able to put up points. And to me, that's what Darren Waller represents. Now, for my money, I believe it was the former of those two arguments. I don't believe they have had a high-end tight end prospect that either the offensive coaches or Bryce Young trust enough to want to get the ball to routinely at the tight end position. I'm hoping that Darren Waller can be the remedy to that this year.
How did Cody turn into the softy of this bunch? I'm going different. No,
It's
for real.
logic, man.
No, you said chicken or egg, right? Well, is the chicken or egg the first down? Did the Panthers not get a first down because of the talent? Did they get a first down because this is what I'm saying when it comes to that? I wonder. I don't have a conclusion on this, but I wonder, how is it the Panthers not that they believe in the talent or that they can make this a little bit better, get a little more juice from the squeeze? Or do they believe this is that the talent isn't necessarily fantastic or the threat there, nor is that the strength of our quarterback? I go back to this, is you go back to Frank Reich's rookie, well, not rookie year, but his first year, Bryce Young's rookie year. And what was the major criticism against Frank Reich is trying to force Bryce Young to do Frank Reich things. I gotta wonder, and if this is the case, is that talent either fucking sucks at tight end and it's abysmal and we can't develop it, or is there a little nagging issue in this coaching staff that says not the greatest talent nor the greatest asset for the quarterback in our system that we have? You want to, and I, again, not a X and O expert, but I tell you this, what do you see in training camp for Bryce Young that everybody dazzles and goes nuts about? Outside throws, over the shoulder, using the sideline, using the boundaries of the field. I don't see this as like, oh, Bryce Young stepping up and zinging it over. And of course, that's not his skill set, being 5'11". But I don't know. Do you give him the greatest? Are those center routes going to be those, like over the middle routes, going to be as valuable with him as they could be with somebody else? I wonder, is it a Canales failure? Is it a Canales failure to integrate the tight end? Is it a schematic, I don't love the tight end? Or is it like, hey, this isn't the best use of what we got?
I think it's the necessary talent to be able to do it. Remember, they're also telling you literally verbatim that they want to put T-Mac in the slot. You already know that Jalen Coker plays slot. Well, no, but this is my point, Tony. They want a big, strong body to be able to be a target going across the middle. That way you're not having to worry about them getting lit up by linebackers. I mean, again, we're not talking about 1980s football here, but who would you rather trust going across the middle of the field? Darren Waller or Jimmy Horn Jr.? I think
you're hitting
Darren
them in
Waller.
the middle. I think you're trying to drag them across the middle. I think I think Bryce's game is outside the hashes. I think Bryce's game is outside the hashes.
Also, think of it this way too. Bryce Young being a shorter quarterback, he's 5'10".
That's my point.
Well, this is what I'm saying though. That bigger body matters. They want the bigger body so that way it's a better target for Bryce Young, and at the same time, that bigger frame is more able to take hits going across the middle of the field rather than worrying about Mechie or Jimmy Horn Jr. getting lit the fuck up.
I'll ask you this, CK, and we'll move on. Is the Panthers not prioritizing a tight end, right? Is not making it a big deal in their free agency strategy, their draft strategy? Is that because of a schematic? We don't really think that they're as cool, or is it we're trying to draft players, fit players for what is best for what we have? Is Dave Canales handicapped at the tight end position schematically, or does he recognize that this does not suit the strengths of my quarterback? And I am being the most wild Panthers fan. I'm not usually like this when it comes to Bryce Young, but I'm now ready to put down the gauntlet here.
So
it's a tough question, ain't it? Take it.
I mean, it's tough. So let me. So what do you mean? As far as, so what's your suggestion with this?
My suggestion is that they know that Bryce Young. I'm not saying Bryce Young is not good. That's not my point. I'm not saying he's not capable, nor am I not saying they don't believe in him. But we draft players, and you should not let scheme override your players. You should build the scheme for your players. And do the Panthers intentionally build a scheme that is inherently less tight end, less centric to that center hash? Think about this: would Bryce Young thrive with a Jeremy Shockey, Greg Olsen? Like, these are my guys, right? And as we run them inside the hash, you have to step in the pocket. You have to see over these. I think that when we look at the Panthers training camp and we look at the greatest throws, they're to the sidelines. They are the boundary throws, outside throws. And I'm not saying he can't throw over the middle at all, but it is, if you I don't think they can build their offense on this center driven tight end. And I think that's why they have not made it a priority in free agency and draft, because they are trying to cater to the guys, not cater, but is like accentuate their strengths, not force them to do things they don't want.
Okay.
My question ultimately is this, is does Dave Canales' offense not care about tight ends? Is the talent the problem? He doesn't know how to scheme tight ends, or does he recognize that that's not the best scheme for Bryce Young?
I think that Dave Canales has never been great at scheming tight ends. And I think that maybe Idzik with this addition has a philosophy that may be more tight ends centric. And there's a potential in change there. I do think that I think that Bryce Young needs a big body tight end as a safety net that he can look to in when the pressure is really on, right? I don't know that he feels he has that. Now, with Jonathan Brooks in the backfield, that may open that up as well. So you may start to see him feeling a little more comfortable with those checkdowns. But I think that this could be an evolution of the offensive scheme more so than a scheme developed just around a weakness of Bryce Young.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think it is fair. And I am in a very argumentative mood tonight. Not argumentative with you, but I'm that Bills game sent me a different place.
Yeah.
And I know you guys don't say it mattered. I don't like, yes, it would have been better, Cody, for me to not see them. That would have been better, but I would rather sleep with the girl that I was going to marry before I married her, in a sense. And that was us sleeping with this Panthers offense for, like, yes, it would be better for us to get married and just consummate this marriage in week 1. But now I'm sitting here going, damn, all the fucking optimism I had, and we just were not trending the right way. We're not trending the right way. And I don't care what the problem was. I don't care if it's guard. I don't care if it's the quarterback. I don't care if it's the coach. We're just not. Ultimately, I didn't get any juice to make me find something to be excited about for this offense. What I feel like is what the struggle I have done for this podcast for the last 7 years is to try to find something either to be excited about, or to not be an asshole so that I'm not someone that everybody hates because you're like, oh, you're a Debbie Downer. I don't want to think that this whole season's lost. I don't think that off of that, but I just didn't come away from this. I had so much fun in this off season thinking about what the free agency did, what the draft did. Oh, okay. We made the playoffs. Please remember, I did not want to back into the playoffs. I was the only one on this show that said, I don't want to back into the playoffs.
Oh, no, you weren't. I did not want to fucking have the Falcons push us into the playoffs, bro. I was loud about it. I caught hell on Twitter saying I'd rather not be in the bitch. But we did, and we almost won.
Then we had the better outcome. I just wanted, at what point do we catch momentum? At what point?
It's almost like we shouldn't play these fucking starters in the fucking preseason to kill all of our joy and our momentum before it even starts.
Well, then week 1 kills our momentum. I don't want that.
No.
I just want
joint practices build the momentum, bro.
But
and I think Darren Waller, I'm excited. Darren Waller as another really nice target for Bryce Young, and now there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Who
I don't
has
wanna-
more
I don't-
touchdowns
I don't-
this
I
season,
don't-
Darren Waller or XL?
Ooh.
Yeah. How about that for the XL crowd? And I like XL. I'm not an XL hater, but think about this. If you placed a bet right now off of, if you said that XL is going to have more touchdowns than Darren Waller, you are only saying that because you believe that XL is going to become XL.
Chat, put it in the chat. Who has more touchdowns, Leggett or
That's
Waller?
a great, what? Oh, we're gonna
That is. That's
we gotta
a- that's
roll
a-
with this for like 2 weeks. We need to make some couple of polls because
I
who
think
would
I'm gonna
say
pull one up on
who
Twitter.
would say XL though?
People
Like, tell
that
me the
still
person
want
if
him
they
to
think he's going to
believe
be a
that-
bigger part of the offense, right?
People that
That he's
believe
a
he
gr-
was going to live up to the first round draft pick that we used on him.
It's second and goal, and you tried out T Mac, you tried out Coker, you tried out XL, and you tried out Waller. There's a 1 in 4 chance that XL is going to get it. I think I put my money on Waller.
I would probably also say Waller right now, just because of what he did. Last year, 6 touchdowns in the red zone in 9 games.
He's done more in his worst
big,
year.
Man. He's a
done
Pro Bowler.
Okay, man, let's blow the internet up with this. Clip that, because that's what. How about this? As StreamYard likes to say, then it's like we want to do the AI. Clip that. Who will get more touchdowns this season for the Carolina Panthers? Xavier Leggett or Darren Waller? That was me using StreamYard to try to make a short. We'll see if it works. They say clip that. Clip that. Good
Really?
question.
All you
All
have
right.
to do is just say it and it'll do it automatically?
It'll keep
Well,
it
they say that if you use clip that in our talk,
Mhm.
that like their AI search engine can help
And
find
then
it.
it'll grab everything after
Well,
you say.
it at least helps it find it.
Yeah.
But I said it 3 times, so it could just be like clip
Did
that.
you say
clip
it before you said what you wanted to say, or
Yeah.
after?
Yeah, before. Or I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I've never done it before.
Yeah, we need to try it.
Well, we just did. Do it one more time, Cody. You ask it. Because we'll get 2 AI shorts. You do it.
StreamYard, do we need to ask you?
No, you don't say that. Just say.
No, I'm going to ask StreamYard. Let me fucking know, StreamYard. Do I need to say clip that before or after I say the damn thing that I want to say?
All right. Well, how about you say it now and then you ask the question? That would be a good short.
Well, clip that indicates it's in the past. Clip this would be that it's in the future.
Yeah, that's what I, right.
Oh,
That's kind of
okay.
what yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm getting at.
All right.
All right, how about this? We'll try it this
I'm
way.
ready to be done.
Who gets more touchdowns in 2026? Xavier Leggett or Darren Waller? Clip that.
Well done. Fucking pro. Fucking pro.
Yeah,
Right
boy.
now.
I does this shit, son.
All right. The Carolina Panthers are heading to Jacksonville. They're
Yeah.
2.5 point dogs. Not that that matters. Doesn't matter. None of it matters. I'll ask you this. What do you want to
sound
finish
like
out this
King Solomon?
King Solomon. I'm not that wise. Does any of it matter? Do we matter? Now I sound like
Nothing matters.
Socrates. What do you want to? If I would, let me finish this. Would you rather the Panthers win this game, or what do you want to see? Cody, I expect you to say, I don't want to see any of my fucking starters. I want to put my head in the sand and say, we're fucking great. What do you expect or want to see in Jacksonville when we come back on Tuesday to do this show?
I expect to see an offensive touchdown.
From who? The starters or just
Fucking
period?
a Carolina Panther starter.
Okay.
And I don't care who. Jonathan Brooks, Bryce Young could run it in for all I care. XL, Mechie, I don't give a damn, dude. I want a touchdown. I want the bare minimum, and I don't think that's too much to ask.
CK?
Yeah, I want an offensive touchdown. But I also want a turnover. We haven't seen a turnover in either of these games. I want to see this defense get a turnover.
You know what I want to see? I don't want to see the Panthers starters play. I want us to walk into this game, like Cody said, and just be like, practice is great. Joint practices are the fucking best. And whatever happens, week 1, we're going to be the best team we can. No, I'm fucking lying right there. I do not want us to do that. What I want is this. I want the Carolina Panthers to put out. I want them to say, we want the ball. I want them to win the coin flip. That's it. Win the fucking coin flip.
Out? Me too.
I want them to win the coin flip, and I want them to say, give us the ball. And I want them to start on the fucking 20 or 25 or whatever it is now, that I think 25, right? That they start. And I want them to move the ball fucking 60 yards down and kick a field goal. If they score a touchdown, fine. So be it. I want them to do this. I want them to execute an offense that can move the ball. And I'm not talking about a field goal that's like a 50-yarder. I'm talking about this. It's boom, clock, like run the ball 4 yards, pass the ball 7 yards, first down, pass the ball 4 yards, run the ball 4 yards, convert a third down. Fuck, if they make a touchdown, gravy. But if they just move the ball competently, kick a field goal, take those bitches off the field, and we say this: the offense is ahead of schedule. It's ahead of schedule. That's all I want.
We'll see.
Cody, is that I think that was, we did actually, let me do this. We have one short 30-second call from one last one. Let's get in.
Yeah, do it.
What's up, y'all? It's Lucas from Power City.
What up, Luke?
Listen, y'all. Bryce Young, I'm starting to think Cody was right. I don't think he's it, y'all. It looks like he's going to start off cold again. We got Chicago week 1. Chicago's going to come in here and whoop our hind ends. So we got to get our shit together. I'm starting to believe that Bryce ain't it, man. Haynes King ready.
I'm taking
Haynes
these.
King, baby. It's happening, boys.
You fluffed them for this moment, Cody, for the last year, and now I'm starting to be like, and it's not about Bryce. I'm just so mad.
So I'm the fluffer now.
I'm so mad that this fucking team isn't just a little bit, again, schedule behind or ahead of schedule, on schedule. I don't feel like we are on schedule with this offense. That's my concluding point. So I don't need to be ahead, not on schedule. And that's not one player. It's not a guard. It's not a quarterback. It's about all of these, the unit. So I've said enough. I've said my piece. Cody, we've talked about, I think, have we missed anything? I don't want to talk about anything that like one slide. Is there anything on your heart that we missed? If not, where do we go?
Let's go and ice some motherfuckers up then. You with it?
Yeah. It's time to ice some fools up. Longest running segment on the longest running podcast. Panthers podcast, should I say? Let's ice those fools up.
Eyes up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's our homage to Steve Smith, where we tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. We rock this segment as a moment where we can tell anyone inside or outside the bounds of football. This is a football fan podcast, but hey, let's take a moment where we can talk shit about our friends, our family, kids in Oklahoma, people that we don't like, people we do like. Actually, we wouldn't ice up someone we do like. It's our moment to tell someone to ice up, toughen up, to get it together. Cody, I hope you have a video of someone dying to lift my spirits after my day today.
I wish I had that.
Okay.
I wish I did, but I don't.
Dang it.
I'm icing up all the supporters of this bitch, Lindsay Clancy.
Oh, God.
I
don't know who Lindsay Clancy
I
is,
feel
but
like
he
I
came
just
out
stole.
hard.
I feel like I just stole CK's ice up. Dude, this woman, Lindsay Clancy, has pled guilty to murdering. CK, was it 2 or 3 kids?
Oh, her
it was 3 kids.
She had 3 kids. She pled guilty to brutally murdering the 3 of them. And a bunch of, I gotta be real, sorry to the ladies that are listening, a bunch of fucking deranged hags of women, all on TikTok and Twitter, have convinced themselves that this woman is innocent and that it's actually the husband that's been manipulating her the whole time to plead guilty to a crime that she didn't commit. Some of these foids are so stupid, dude. You're actively defending a brutal murderer who murdered children. Bro, this is one of those stories that makes me hate people. And like, if you're just hearing me say this, Tony, it doesn't really hit the mark. But if you look up Lindsay Clancy and the Discord around her online, it's legit fucking sickening.
I've not seen the Discord. I did. I was driving back from the mountains and I was like trying to find a podcast to like keep me awake in a sense. You know, I was like, oh, I want to listen to something. And I just like was listening to I put in crime podcast and it was like latest person. And it was, I listened to 38 seconds of this and it was just like mother that murdered her. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to listen to this. So I
hear you.
I know a little of the story.
Oh, and by the way, they're
also donating.
They're also donating hundreds of thousands of dollars to this.
I think it's up to $900,000 at this point.
It's fucking sick, dude.
I did. Now, the latest headline I read, CK, was mother-in-law testified that she was exhausted and like asked for help and was exhausted. Now, I am not trying to diminish the idea that mother, like anybody, actually, it doesn't just have to be a mother, that if you had kids, say you had 3 kids and you were left alone, like, and you had to do, yes, you get exhausted, you get tired. That's why when I had my children, not when I had my children, but when I was in these births, in the back of the door, they had these signs that were like, don't shake the baby. Like, and I was like, damn, that's fucking fucked up. Like, you know, but it was like, look, your life is about to be crazy. You're going to be tired. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be mad. You're going to be like sad. You're going to be all of this. And it was a sign that said, do not shake. Like, I mean, if you feel this, it's okay to be exhausted. It's okay. Give your baby to your mom. Give your baby to the neighbor. Don't fucking shake it.
There was no amount of exhaustion.
It was like a sign on the back door.
Yeah, dude, there is no amount of motherhood-induced exhaustion that should ever bring anyone to that point. That should go without saying that there are people that are willing to raise 900,000. No,
Yeah.
let me take that back.
Motherhood exhaustion is
bunch
real,
of Gen
but
Z white women are dumb enough to fucking make this woman a millionaire. It's so stupid, dude.
I'm really not trying to be unsympathetic or unsympathetic to people that are exhausted, but there's a limit.
No, there's a limit. Here's
The limit is called shaking. I thought it was shaking according to that sign on the back of the door. Now
the limit is don't give your children shaken baby syndrome.
Yeah. And now it's murder.
Yeah. Well, the thing about this is, and this is the hard part, I don't think that anybody is responsible other than this woman, right? But I do think that answers need to be given about why she was not given the proper attention when she tried to admit herself multiple times to a psychiatric ward.
Right.
And
that's where the failures are, right?
That's where
it's not
the
that
failure
you
is.
killed your kids. That's the failures are on we didn't care enough.
Yes. And that's where I have a problem with this entire thing is, when somebody actually does come and try to ask for help, and our medical system is so focused on churn and burn that they're not willing to actually do anything to help, but just prescribe more medicine and more medicine and more medicine. I think that becomes where I see this being a bit of an issue. This woman is 100% responsible for what happened.
Not for what for her actions.
For her
That's
actions,
what I would
yeah.
say for her actions. That's what I would say is like for the people that are not arguing, because I'm not arguing anything, is that we need to step up and help people.
Yeah.
If you're a husband, fucking change a diaper. If you're a husband and the kids don't walk in there and not do anything, right? And this is where I'm sorry, I'm not trying to take over your ice up, is like ultimately is your responsibilities, your actions are what you did. But the other people, it doesn't give you a pass. You did those things, but those other people could help. And that's not a pass at all. Is if you're a fucking husband, help your wife. If you're a wife, help your husband. If you murder somebody, you murdered them. Your actions are your actions.
Yeah.
But we can help people. Like you said, ZK, is like the system. It's not just the system. It's just, how about this? Is fucking, and again, I go back to that shaking. I remember looking at that sign. And it was like, don't shake your baby. I was like, oh God. It was like this is if you're fucking help that person. I'm not trying to give that person a pass. That's not what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, Tony. The reason I chose it as my ice up, obviously the woman that murdered her children is a fucking demon. But what I'm saying is the amount of people that are looking to identify with her. Like, at least with the Luigi Mangione bullshit.
She's a patriot. She's a patriot.
At least with the Luigi Mangione bullshit, even though it was a murder, like you can say, oh, well, the other guy of the healthcare company was denying people life-saving medicines and treatments. So whatever, you can make some kind of like working man justification, hero vigilante shit for it. But this, like taking the life of 3 innocent babies, and people are willing to raise almost $900,000. Bro, like, I wish less people could vote. I wish less people fucking had the right to vote, dude.
It's the moral exoneration that's the problem.
Yeah. It's and that goes across the board, right? That happens a lot. People identify with the person, and so they end up, in these large groups of people. It's almost
I did it because they did it because rather than
Well, not even it's also what becomes a problem in my mind is this is what is encouraging a lot of these behaviors. Is people are thinking, well, I can get out of this situation by doing this, and people are going to send me millions of dollars just because they agree with or identify with either my situation or my beliefs or something along those lines. And so people, in my opinion, they're going to start encouraging themselves or other people to start to act immorally because hey, they may suffer from a prison sentence, but they're going to be loved by millions of other people.
It's like the opposite of victim shaming. It's like it's like, oh, it's I don't know. It's how do you celebrate a bad
victim championing?
Yeah,
Or not.
that's what I was going
perfect
for.
right
I don't know how to say it, but is no one is saying that she shouldn't have been supported more, right? No, like I don't think that that's my ice up. Is that like to say it's not my ice up? It's your ice up. Are you? You go ahead. You fucking finish it
done,
up.
man.
All right,
I'm
my
still
ice
gonna-
up is way less heavy, but very uncomfortable. All right, so where I work at, we have a bathroom, like the bathrooms, and I guess it's like faculty and student bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the general bathroom, and then it's like the single serve bathroom. Right. So when you go into this bathroom, is ultimately kind of nice. They don't keep it as clean as they should, but that's not nice up. Is you walk in there, you lock the door, safe. You're safe. You can scroll Twitter. You can take your couple of minutes that I needed a break, and you're in your little throne environment. So if you work there and you've worked there for a while, you know this is like when you walk up in there, like if the door is locked, someone's in there. And we always joke about this is like the newbie person or the person that hasn't worked, like I won't say worked there, doesn't not involved, I guess, as much. When they come in and they try to use the bathroom, they fucking shoulder it like a starting linebacker. Like someone trying to make the team. You'll be on the toilet, you'll be scrolling Twitter, and boom. I mean, it's locked. It's locked. But that door shakes. There's a moment of panic where you're like, oh shit, is the door gonna fail? Is this some fucking The Rock fucking barreling? No, I mean, but it's like, so what we have learned over time that people that work there is that when you walk up to this bathroom, you touch the handle. If it's locked, someone's in there. Right? The shoulder is very scary to the person that's sitting on the toilet. It's like, oh, you're okay though. The weirdest thing though is when someone does the knock. There's no occupied sign. There's no nothing. You get the knock on the door. What do? You sit there, you scroll Twitter, you do this, right? So the joke in the past has been like, why do you knock, motherfucker? It's open or it's not open. You don't have to shoulder it. You can lightly open the door. If it's locked, it's not. So the past joke has just been this is when someone knocks, which is weird. You're like, come in. That's what I like. That's kind of my joke. It's like, come in, which is you're not supposed to do that. So today I'm teaching 7 hours, like 7 hours of teaching. Got my first 5 minutes to myself, sat down, chilling for a second. The shoulder came in. Boom. Okay. Then the knock. And then I sat quietly and I was like, oh, I'm just going to scroll and look at Darren Waller, the highlights or some shit like this. Pause, 6-7 seconds, a second knock. Then I said, come in. And the person was like, oh, I didn't know anybody was in there. I thought I was going to call. I thought the door was locked. I was like, get the ice up, folks. Learn bathroom etiquette. Don't shoulder a locked door and don't knock on a locked door. What are they supposed to say to you? And then a second knock, CK? Unforgivable to me. Cody dipped out. Is he okay? He did not mention anything, but we're going to finish this. Oh, wait, hold up. He did. He just texted me. He said his computer acted up. All right. It's us. We're at the end.
I'll give an ice up here, and then I'll allow us to vacate the premises. So my ice up is going to be, it was going to be along the lines of what Cody's was. I know the real AP wants me to do data centers. I'm not as well versed on data centers to be able to give an educated opinion on that matter. But as that comes in, maybe I can do that in the future. But plenty of people are, yeah, exactly. At this point in time, put money on them because I don't know that we're going to stop it. But I will say, I'm going to ice up the WNBA.
Oh God,
the WNBA has taken on an 80-20 issue right now. And that is this whole, trans people in being welcomed into the WNBA. And I say this with a great deal of respect for a lot of these women who are dedicating their lives to a sport that maybe isn't getting the attention that they would have loved to see it. I mean, I think they're talented for what they offer. And I know that doesn't garner a lot of attention. However, it does garner more attention than it ever has. And what they've done is squandered that. Because when you've taken this whole Sophie Cunningham,
and
Caitlin
they have some
Clark,
stars right now too.
You have who was it that she was against? Caitlin Clark was always kind of like a rival with
Angel Reese.
Angel Reese. You have people that are recognizable all of a sudden, and now eyes are on WNBA like they've never been.
You gave the MAGA crew the moment.
Yeah. And then what you do is you take that and you just flush it down the toilet. Genuinely, you flush it as though it didn't. All of this work that all of these women have been putting in. Some of the women are a part of this. Don't get me wrong. I'm fully aware that this isn't isolated to only the executives of WNBA. Quite honestly, I think it's championed by too many of the women in the WNBA. But the idea that you're going to welcome men who identify as a woman into the locker rooms and to play on a sport, but that is meant to be women's sports. There's a reason we've separated them, and that is because women deserve to be able to let their talents be shown in an even playing field. And when you introduce men into the equation, it isn't. And when you can't even use your own name as a reference of who should be playing in your league, that's where I think you've lost so much credibility as a league. So I'm icing up the WNBA. And unfortunately, many of the women who play in the WNBA who don't realize the damage they're doing to their own gender. So ice up.
Or the sport. I mean, my daughter was asking to buy jerseys and t-shirts 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, it's not basketball season. But are you making basketball it? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, does that fall on the 13-year-old girl that was trying to be a basketball player? I don't know. All right. That's the C3 Panthers podcast. The longest running Panthers podcast. Thanks for your time, attention, and energy. Smash the thumbs up button. We'll be here on Tuesday Friday free for all on Fridays. Saturday we've got Friday is going to be a big night because we've got the game and the Friday free for all. So be there. And the post game show is coming next week. Jim Zoki coming on the show. Thanks for your time. Thanks for hanging out, CK. We're out of here. Keep pounding. I'm gonna hit. Let me see if I can do this right. I hit end stream twice. Come on now. Oh, hey. Where is Cody when we need
Double
him?
dash
We'll do
of Cody
one
and
more
Tony.
time for you. The fucking stream.